And welcome back to the Crypto Hulk Show. Today we're going to start off showing you a new crypto. It's used for farming. It's going to help all around the world with farmers. Cardano. It's built on Cardano. And you have the Luxembourg Central Exchange mixed up in this. It's very early. You're very, very early in this particular crypto. We're going to go over it, probably start off the show with that. Just an opportunity for you. You're not going to be rich tomorrow, obviously. But if you're looking at farming all around the world, this is how farmers might get paid, all of them in the future. Somebody shows up at their ranch. They go to a market, whatever it might be. They can make trades right there with food. All around the world, people don't have to wait till they're holding paper money. I want you to think about this. All around the world, it could be from a small farmer to another farmer, and they never even make it to the market. Maybe one farmer, he's got cows, and somebody else has got sugar beets. I don't know, whatever the hell is, and multiply that by millions all around the world. So this crypto is one that definitely has a use case. And as we see Cardano growing fairly rapidly, this is definitely one where you're going to want to look at and consider. It's kind of interesting, but it's very functional. So we're going to go over that. We'll start off the show. Excuse me. My name is Crypto Hulk. I'm not a financial advisor, not a crypto advisor, none of the above. Don't listen to anything on the show. If I tell you to sell something, buy it. And if I tell you to buy something, sell it, and that kind of thing. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. First things first. This is for the people specifically that don't donate, whether you're financially broke or whatever it might be. You don't donate. You don't want nothing to do with the government, whatever it might be. Help other people hear the message that I have. Number one, put a comment in the comment section, even if you write the word comment. That means we know you're alive. After the show, do the same thing. Maybe in the top comments or something, just put something in there. That would greatly help. Also, if you could save this video to your favorites, take a video or so, share it to somebody else, share it to yourself. When you share it to yourself, what you're doing is reminding yourself to watch it again. And lastly, pick a group of 8 of my videos. They're all about an hour long. Make a playlist, and while you're at work, and of course you'll be listening to it, let the playlist go. That's tremendously helpful to the channel. It'll show that there's viewership going on, which there will be because you'll be at work watching it. And you can adjust the volume as low as you want or whatever. I'd really appreciate that. That would greatly help the channel. That would be paying it forward. You're getting all this free information, some of the best information on the internet. So at least pay it forward by doing that. Okay. Let's get in here. First 5 people. Valley Joe, Issa, Brian. He's from Australia. Klaus, and then Stellar. First 5. Okay. Then we got a brand new guest, Jess Monte. Upgraded the 2024 crypto explosion. Let's see what we got here. We got Joshua Joseph. Thank you very much. Tax-free donation. Appreciate that. Don Foley. Thank you for the tax-free donation. They truly are tax-free. Those donations, the government gets 0. YT as a platform gets 0 from that. Otherwise, I'm taxed on like memberships or whatever. And that's usually probably a good, at least 30%. So anyhow, let's go into the crypto. We have an article on Cointelegraph. And I'm going to show you, this is a different kind of crypto. We're not dealing with millionaires here. We're dealing with real world use case. So if you're somebody who's interested in a crypto and you want one that has very functional use, This one would be it. And you got Cardano. It's on Cardano, and Luxembourg's mixed up in this. Farmers are switching to stable coins. Farmers are increasingly turning to stable coins to facilitate cross-border payments, streamline operations, and gain access to global markets. We all need and buy it. Food is a common, universal ground across the planet. It should come as no surprise then that the agricultural industry is enormous. In 2023, European Union alone imported 154 million tons of agricultural products and exported 134 million tons more. The market is growing too, projected to expand by 3.5% annually from this till we reach 2029. Yet farmers and agricultural traders are confronted with a serious problem. They need to export food abroad and interact with foreign currencies. The financial system, particularly in Africa, here we go. Now we're talking about Africa. Africa is, however, undeveloped. Inefficiencies in their trade result in high transaction costs, delayed cross-border payments, and high interest rates for loans. Large corporations can better navigate financial hurdles, but this isn't always the case with small farmers, who suffer the most from outdated banking systems. Blockchain technology and stable coins promise to smooth unstable waters for agricultural traders, eliminating intermediaries and providing financial inclusion. The technology gives farmers direct access to global markets. With Africa's food and agriculture predicted to be valued at $1 trillion by 2030, stablecoins stand to be much more than simply another financial trend for the industry. So now we get into cross-border payments are the beating heart of agricultural trade, central to accessing resources such as equipment and seeds or engaging in trade between countries. International transactions are vital to African agriculture, which represents 17% of total African exports. Local banking systems are, however, underdeveloped and impede these payments to a shocking degree. What you got going on in Africa, from what I understand, is, from what I've also learned doing this show, is a lot of banks have moved out of Africa. They call it like debanking. They find out, oh, it's too expensive. We don't have enough business in certain African areas. So these people literally have no banks. This crypto will come in to fix that. You know, sometimes we'll talk about on this show, and I'm not making fun of it. It's just some guy or family lives in Africa might trade 3 goats for someone to fix their roof or something like that. Or maybe a person takes a goat to a local market somewhere in Africa or somewhere around the world and trades that goat for maybe money of some sort. This is where this crypto comes in. If they have access to one of these and you got a Starlink being hooked up, what does that tell you? That's how all this world's going to connect. So we've got to be able to hook everybody up. If we're going to switch to a crypto system, then there's offline payments. So you can make a payment right then. And then next time you get cellular access, that trade registers online. So this is kind of what we're seeing going on all over the world, but they're starting in Africa, and Cardano is pretty deep into Africa. And like I told you already, if Africa don't get hooked up, ain't nobody's getting hooked up. So that's why we're kind of discussing this crypto here. Let me scan the rest of this. Go to the section that says agriculture still faces global challenges. It's the very last portion of this. It's like the last 5 paragraphs. Stable coins should be music to the ears of those working in agriculture. The road there could, however, be rocky. Significant regulatory uncertainty. I think we hear that in America. Regulatory uncertainty, especially in Africa, is one hurdle. Many nations have strict capital outflow controls, so farmers and traders must comply with local regulations or face legal issues. And it talks about barriers and problems. So what this would help is farmers utilizing a particular crypto that's set aside for agriculture. I think would help them. They could be living wherever they have to. They don't need a bank or very limited need for a bank. If they had a bank, well, it's going to have to be on a phone, right? If the banks are closing up and for millions of people, they won't have access. So this is why this particular crypto is very interesting. Now, this crypto is not just Cardano that we're going to discuss here. Let me check the comments. I'm going to show you how tied in that this cryptocurrency is. Iron Mike. Okay, so let's get into who's involved with this crypto. If you do a search on Google, let me do a copy and a paste. This crypto we're going over now is a global crypto. It's good everywhere. So I did a Google search. I typed in African with the plus sign, fintech with the plus sign, agribusiness with the plus sign, and then partner. I put that in the top chat right there. What it does is it breaks down fintech's role in African agriculture, bridging the finance gap, digital lending and payments, insurance and solutions, data-driven insights. You've got an example here. You got Safaricom. Now, Safaricom is a business in Africa. Now we're starting to see who's behind the biggest players. There's some players in this African crypto space. Let's only go over like the top number one, and then it shows a number two here as well. We have Safaricom, and they have something called DigiFarm, DIGIFARM. It's one word. It's out of Kenya. It's a platform offering input loans, insurance, agronomic advice, and market linkages via mobile technology. That's where this comes in, okay? Now start imagining a mobile wallet, because that's where all this is going. AI, so you're gonna have this where the African farmer does one of these selfie things or whatever, okay? And then let's say he wants to sell or he wants to buy using the DigiFarm platform. And maybe the DigiFarm platform is on an African countries. So it gets kind of like, there's different layers to this, okay? It's not just anonymously trading crypto. It's not that. That's never going to happen. So what you're going to have is a company called Safaricom, and they have some called DigiFarm, and it's out of Kenya. And it's a platform. Now, the next one would be Arifu, ARIFU. It's a Kenyan ed tech and financial service provider collaborating to deliver financial literacy and access. Now, what is the benefit? If somebody joins Safaricom, what is the benefit? It's access, improved access to finance. So farmers gain easier access to credit, enabling investments and inputs in technology. And there's like 4 reasons, but I'm not going over all of them. Let's look at the next web page here. Also, who's mixed up in this? M-Pesa. So M-Pesa is a payment platform that's pretty popular in Africa, and I think in different parts of the world as well. South America, I think it is. So M-Pesa is mixed up in this. Here's the title of this article. M-Pesa leverages Ripple. Ripple partner Onafric for remittances to Ethiopia, hinting at XRP adoption in Africa. This article is about a year old. Ripple partner Onafric. Okay, Ripple partner Onafric has forged a partnership with Kenya. So here we go again. The country of Kenya. They have the DigiFarm, which is the crypto. And then they have something called M-Pesa, is a payment platform. Now, on top of that, there's something called Onafric, O-N-A-F-R-I-Q. We've read that before on this channel. There used to be some called MFS Africa. It's a payments platform. It's got about, I think, 500 million wallets. And I'm sure that number is probably bigger now. So that's 1.5 times the size of the United States. So we have a platform called Onafric, which is like the big picture. Below that, there's M-Pesa. And then underneath that, you'll have the DigiFarm, okay, where the farmers use. This is in Africa. Now notice, this is Ripple. M-Pesa is working with Onafric, which is a Ripple partner. So you can see where Ripple kind of comes into this. Now, the DigiFarm crypto is Cardano. It runs on a Cardano platform. I want you to see how everything is not Ripple. The good cryptos will work together to accomplish something. So I did a Ripple search here with Safaricom. Oh, dang. I see something red in there. Oh, man. 1970 legend. Okay, now check this out. Received my Gemini MasterCard last week. Now I get free XRP with every swipe. 4% back on gas and EV charging on up to $200 in spending a month. Then 1% and 3% back on dining. 2% back on groceries. 1% back on all other qualifying purchases. Also get $200 in Bitcoin as soon as you spend $3,000. Nice. MasterCard is a Ripple partner. So he's showing us this right here. And what you and me are going to see in the future is all your credit cards are going to be tied in with crypto, I believe. I mean, this is just how it's going. To where, like, right now, this is very interesting how this is happening. But understand, MasterCard, that's a Ripple partner. Now, where does this come back to? All goes back to Ripple. Ripple Singapore. I'm the only person that showed you that on the internet. 2014, Ripple Singapore. They had a wallet that was on the page. I could show you. Let's look at the article really quick. Let's go here. Here we go. So I'm going to show you what no other channel has. And thank you very much for that tax-free donation, 1970 legend. So kind of what he's showing you. Let me show you this. So here's this article here. And let's go to the 2-minute and 2-minute, 16-second mark. Go to the 2-minute, 16-second mark. You'll see what? A Ripple logo. It says Ripple, and then it says Singapore. Gold and silver in your wallet. If you watch this video, you'll see what 1970 Legend showed us is the Gemini MasterCard. We know that MasterCard's a Ripple partner because of this. So look, if we look right here, it says it's an article on Coinpedia. Here's the title: MasterCard partners with Ripple. Swipe your debit card to use XRP. So what I showed you about Ripple Singapore, they had a debit card. And if you look through there, I don't know if it's that particular article, but I showed you within the past couple days, Ripple Singapore, where they had a debit card. We had gold, silver, and all these things. You could trade it and stuff. That's all this goes back to Ripple. So right now we're looking at his particular post here about the Gemini MasterCard. And when you really start looking at it from Crypto Hawk's point of view, it's how it should be. I mean, Ripple's been there for 11 years now doing this secretly. The other channels don't know. This channel, we have the evidence the other channels don't have. But we can. Okay. So what we showed you here is just the connections with Ripple. So that was very interesting. So we're going back to Safaricom again. Is Safaricom and Ripple partners? Do we have it on paper? The answer is no. But let me tell you something else. Ripple has non-disclosure agreements, okay, that AI doesn't know about, okay? On paper that we can see, there is no partnership that we can see. That's the key phrase right there. AI, I'll just tell you what, Ripple is working. It says here, let's look. Safaricom was working with MFS Africa, who is a Ripple partner. So look, number one, there's something called a non-disclosure agreement. Ripple has hundreds of global entities that have that filled out, so they can't tell us. That's number one. Number two, Ripple's open sourced. So Safaricom could very well be using Ripple's technology, okay? But it's not necessary because Safaricom is linked up with MFS Africa, who changed its name to Onafric, who is a Ripple partner. So Safaricom is using Onafric, and that's just like, it's like using Ripple technology. They don't have to be partners. Are they? There's a very good chance that they are. A non-disclosure agreement was more than likely signed, okay? I'll leave it at that. So you can't always trust this AI stuff. A lot of people do. That's called a mental crutch, like you're on crutches. AI has to be trained. And AI needs to put a disclaimer in there. If this is truly intelligence, artificial intelligence, it'd have to put a disclaimer in there. Ripple also has hundreds of global non-disclosure agreements. So Safaricom might well be a Ripple partner, but we don't know that. So there's your answer to that one. Now, if you type in this search, let me do a copy paste. 1970 Legend. Oh my God. Hold on here. 1970 legend with the next one says the Gemini MasterCard generally requires a credit score between 670 and 850, which is considered a good to excellent score. While having a score in this range increases your chances of approval, it does not guarantee it. Interesting. Okay. Now let's take a little look. Does DigiFarm platform use cryptocurrency tokens? So that's the AI search. Does DigiFarm platform use cryptocurrency tokens? It appears, AI answers back, it appears you're asking if the DigiFarm platform uses cryptocurrency tokens. Here's a breakdown. So you have a DigiFarm platform. It leverages technology like AI and satellite imagery to optimize crop production, field management, and input application. Here we go. Field boundary NFTs. DigiFarm has participated with NMKR. So that's the crypto, Nancy Mary King Robert, NMKR, to tokenize field boundaries as non-fungible tokens on the Cardano blockchain. The tokens aim to create a transparent digital infrastructure and empower farmers by enabling new financial opportunities. Based on available information, DigiFarm does not appear to have its own dedicated cryptocurrency token used for payments on the platform. M-Pesa integration. DigiFarm in Kenya integrates with M-Pesa, a mobile money platform for loan repayments and payments for farmers. So they're utilizing this NMKR crypto and getting and utilizing an M-Pesa payment platform, okay? Now, if we look on CoinMarketCap, we look right here. There is your crypto right there, NMKR. You know, it was about the same cost as the crypto we went over the other day. This one is 0.0030 zeros and then a 7. Remember the other one was 3 zeros and then a 2 or a 1. So this one is actually a little bit more valuable than the other one we went over the other day. It's pretty close in value. And then the other one, remember that one that pumped up 360%? So this one is just about the same price range. Now, it doesn't have the Roth, and I can't say family backing, but it's out of Switzerland. It's pretty close to where it came from. Let's take a look. Yeah, that'll be the end of that one. NMKR. Now, if we scroll down and we read about, you can read about NMKR right there at the bottom. NMKR is the utility token introduced by the brand NMKR, an official partner of, and it shows Cardano. NMKR is a Cardano native token for utility purpose. Okay. Who are the founders of it? UTXO AG, based in Switzerland. Now, let me tell you something. Stuff that comes out of Switzerland, generally, you got very successful rich people behind it, okay? Now, you can find it a few places. LCX.com I think LCX is like Luxembourg or something. That's where like these really, really rich people are. You can find it at miniswap.org, sundayswap.finance. So some rather obscure exchanges. You won't find this at exchanges that we're familiar with. They made about 1.5 billion of them. And that is all the time I can devote to this cryptocurrency. Let me check some comments, and we're going to go after that. Hold on. After this, we're going to go to China, because China, I think, might be busting a move. China might be busting a move with cryptocurrency and making it legal. So that's extremely huge information. Mr. OG says Hugo Linares is MEXC LCX exchange. Hugo says, how can I donate to the channel? First off, you got to have a YouTube account on your phone, and you create a username and a password, and then you'll see where your chat box is on your computer. If you look to the right of that, you'll see looks like a money symbol. You push that money symbol, and that's how you donate. Here is the next article. It's about China. It's very interesting. Now, I want you to see what's getting set up. Let's take a minute and stop, and let's look at what's been happening to Russia over the past few years with this Ukrainian war, right? It's kind of pushed Russia into cryptocurrency, hasn't it? Now, we see that Russia is a member of the BRICS along with China. We all know that they're Ripple partners. I'm the only channel that has the evidence for that. Robert Driscoll says, I found the button. So that, I don't know why, I guess some people are new to YouTube, but but yeah, you got your chat box, and then those little things next to it. You just push the one that looks like a rectangle. So we have our next article here. It says China is set to give crypto legal recognition. Oh my God. This is massive right here. What we got going on is China is pretty massive along with Russia. They're partners, of course. They're both members of BRICS. They both would love to see America crash and burn so they can take over. And what we got here, again, look at the title of this article. China set to give crypto legal recognition. Dumping of seized assets to navigate economic slowdown sparks debates. Despite a trading ban. So right now, what we got going on? Something called BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Now, this is a group of countries that started off, I don't know what, 15 years ago or something. From what I understand, America started it. But what this is a group of countries that really want the dollar to disappear. You've got Russia, who's a part of it. So is China. Now, part of the problem that we've seen is Russia can't trade with the rest of the world. Now, China is kind of in trouble because China and America are kind of having trade problems. And China's threatening the rest of the world. Now, don't you trade with the United States. Okay. Now, if we just read the headlines here, China's ready to make certain crypto or whatever legal. Okay. Russia's already done the same thing. Are you seeing what's probably being set up right now? Let's look here at the bullet points at the beginning of this article. Despite a trading ban, Chinese local governments have reportedly been selling seized cryptocurrency through private companies. While mainland China continues to uphold its currency ban, Hong Kong is pushing to become a cryptocurrency hub. Once the leading cryptocurrency trading and mining hub, China has long ceded its dominance to the U.S. following a series of suppressive regulatory measures, including a blanket ban on crypto in 2021. The Chinese government doesn't want its people getting rich. That's for certain right there. They want everybody in China fucking broke, dependent on the government. Now, the top Chinese people, it's just like with really any country, but the top Chinese people can trade crypto, just not the poor people, because they want the poor people to stay broke. According to Reuters, Chinese law enforcement officials, lawyers, and financial industry participants are pushing for some judicial recognition of crypto as assets in a potential landmark shift for the country's cryptocurrency industry. The calls come as the country sees a spike in cryptocurrency asset seizures from criminal cases. It says the lack of clear rules on how to handle these seizures is raising corruption concerns. So far, Chinese local governments have been selling seized cryptocurrencies for cash through private firms. Specifically, the assets are sold for US dollars. Are you seeing this? This is what's very strange. The Chinese government is trying their best to destroy the dollar, but they've confiscated millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of crypto, and when they sell it off, they want dollars. Very interesting. There's three governments in China: Zhou, Huan, and Taizhou. They've been selling it off, the crypto. It seems like the Chinese government's allowing it. It says the disparity comes as some analysts suggest that China has since disposed of Bitcoin assets seized from the Plus token Ponzi scheme. So mainland China is not allowed to do anything with crypto, but Hong Kong is. That's what this is showing right here. Now, what you can't see, what I did is I clicked on this. I have the Ripple customer list. It's 2014, November 19th, 2014 is what I'm looking at. I've got a Ripple wallet address. You know what the name of the wallet is? Ripple China. Oh, damn, Crypto Hulk. Yep. That's one thing I'm looking at. No, the other thing I'm looking at is not Maxine Waters in the nude at age 80. We can. Klaus Vach, thank you very much for the tax-free donation. So here's your next video. Go to the 37-second mark. 37-second mark. What are we looking at here? Ripple China. At the 37-second mark, it shows CNY. It gives us the year of 2013. November 30th, 2013. We're looking at the Chinese CBDC. Crypto Hulk, when did, wait a second, Crypto Hulk. So you're saying that Ripple hooked up China with a crypto? Yes, a CBDC. When did China admit they had a crypto? 2018. But did China ever admit who made it? No. So here's where I'm reading an article. You've got a trade war with Russia and United States. China and the United States. But yet, I'm showing you evidence right here of Ripple China. Now we know Justin Sun. I've shown this before. Justin Sun, who invented Tron, he worked for Ripple at this time, and he was the one that helped hook up China. Now, if you go to the 44-second mark, you'll see something called Ripple Dividend. And if you look at the top, it shows Ripple Chinese Forum, Ripple Chinese Community. And then there's other stuff here with Ripple in China. It says Ripple Tutorial, Ripple Register, China's Best, Ripple Communication. Are you seeing all this? That's at the 51-second mark. 51-second mark. Now, if we go to the 58-second mark, I was showing you this about 3 years ago. Ripple came out with something called the Automated Market Maker, okay? I think it's called the XLS 40 or something, or the XLS 20. I don't remember whatever the fuck it was. Ripple, and then all the little XRP maxi channels are like, yeah, go Ripple. We have the Automated Market Maker. Well, actually 3 years ago, I came out with this. Like 2.5 years before Ripple even talked about an automated market maker, Crypto Hulk was showing you years before Ripple even announced they had an automated market maker. Here's what they had. The year is 2014. Go to the 58-second mark of the video I just sent you. The year is 2014. Ripple comes up with China with something called the XMM. Oh, that could stand for the XRP Market Maker. It was involved with China. It says here, March 2014, a nonprofit experimental project. Let me tell you something. That's 2014. It doesn't take 10 years to do this project, okay? So the automated market maker, that everybody's like, oh, Ripple has the AMM. I'm like, big fucking deal. I've been talking about this shit for 3 years now. Ripple just announced their automated market maker maybe 6 months ago or 8 months ago at the most. Crypto Hulk was already talking about it, about 3 years ago. So you will find information from Crypto Hulk before Ripple tells you, okay? Lastly, the article talks about Hong Kong, and that's interesting because we have Ripple China and we have Ripple Hong Kong. Let me show you that evidence right here. Here's this video right there. Go to the 21-second mark. 21-second mark. What do we see here? It says Ripple Hong Kong, copyright 2014. Largest Ripple gateway in Hong Kong. There you have it. I also have the Ripple customer list from 2014, and I can click on Ripple Hong Kong and see what it's all about. It's pretty cool, the stuff that I got. Next, the Bank for International Settlements is talking about how crypto is coming into the traditional finance world. This is massive right here, because this is eventually how we get rich. Why is Hong Kong important? Because the Bank of International And we're welcome back to Crypto Hulk Show. Looks like YT platform couldn't handle me showing you how Ripple and China and Ripple Hong Kong are all put together. YT's getting all butthurt from my channel. Just thought I'd put that out there. So we got Bamba. He says, wait, no, we got another one before him. Lions Den Dan. Why is Hong Kong important? Like Ripple Hong Kong. Why is Hong Kong important? Because the Bank of International Settlements is headquartered there. Very interesting. See, look, let me tell you something. Hong Kong's China. Let's just break it down even more. The Philippines is basically under control of the Chinese. Thailand, all those companies, Vietnam, everything is China, okay? We know from last night, the video I did yesterday, that the founding of the internet, Netscape and all these things in 2013 and all that, China, Russia, United States got all hooked up with Yahoo, Mozilla, and the internet. So they're all in there. What they want is for us not to know there's partnerships. That's why this channel is severely hammered by YT, because they know this channel has the evidence. These other people that making channels, they don't have the fucking ability to find this shit, okay? So when I show you all these exposing of governments and communist governments, they're working together with the United States. I'm showing all of this. That's why YouTube can't handle it. They're just like freaking out, right? And right here, Lions Den Dan is showing us Hong Kong is where the BIS is headquartered at. That's China, pretty much. You see where this is coming from? And Ripple is partners with the BIS. Let's get into this article here. Let me do a copy and a paste again. Lions Den Dan says, sorry, too much truth. Pretty much. Then you got Bamba41 says, Buenos dias, Crypto Hulk. Just came across a coin, didn't know about Velo. Okay. So he wanted to talk about that. Thank you very much for that tax-free donation. You got Velo and Stellar. The Bank of International Settlements says what? Real world assets are going to drive the link between crypto and TradeFi. Okay, look, Bitcoin. What backs Bitcoin? Answer, nothing. So we have some called TradeFi. That's traditional finance, okay? Traditional finance, like from the old days up until now. What we've got to do is have a crypto that's backed by real world assets. That's what tokenization is. That's what the Bank for International Settlements. What's so important about the Bank for International Settlements? Well, maybe because Ripple is a partner of them. That's one. But number two, they're the bank of all the banks in the world. Every single bank in the world follows instructions from them. Ripple's a partner of them. What are they saying? That once we get real world assets in a token form, that, I mean, way more than what we got now. Basically, how about if you take everything on the stock market, every stock market in the world, and tokenize it? Take all the derivatives in the world, tokenize it. Take all the land in the world, tokenize it. Take all the buildings in the world, tokenize it. Take all the money in the banks, tokenize it. Tokenize all the cars, motorcycles you can. You see where this is going? Tokenize all the artwork, the diamonds, the gold, the oil. We're probably talking $5 quadrillion. That would put all the cryptos that we talk about here at least $1,000 to $10,000. What is the Bank of International Settlements saying? Now that I've said all that, what is the BIS saying? The Bank of International Settlements says that the tokenization of real-world assets on blockchains will develop stronger links between crypto and traditional finance. Look, all the stock market places and this and that. Oh, wait a second. Damn. 27 Red Hulk. Oh, yeah. And FYT. YT not invited to Vegas. Bite me. Thank you very much for that tax-free donation. Yeah, I'm going to Vegas. I'm not going to be hanging out at the XRP, listening to all those people. I'll be hanging out at Caleb Brown for a while and stuff, and I'm going to see some of you guys there. It's going to be interesting finding out everybody's name, like Justin Steven or Luck O or Stu Lavelle or XRP Shaman. Like, I'm not going to know who people are, but they'll be like, I am Mr. OG. And I'll be like, oh, shit. So that'll be interesting. But right on. Let me get back here. Where are we at? So the Bank of International Settlements is telling us this, something that we've already known on this channel. What is going to make our crypto valuable? Two things: global crypto regulation. Look, all these countries have to have crypto regulations. And the next thing is you got to tokenize everything. Now, you don't need 100%, but if you tokenize 10, 20, 30, 40, the more you tokenize, the more valuable a crypto will get. So that's where we're at with that. In a new paper on the financial stability risks of crypto, the BIS analysts say that real-world assets, or the tokenization of traditional assets, are creating an increased connection between TradeFi and DeFi. So basically just this: the more you take real-world assets and tokenize them, that's when all the money will start pouring into crypto. That's what the BIS Ripple partner is saying. If you look down below, third paragraph, if the trend continues, The BIS says that more and more assets will be traded in the DeFi. So how do you get more and more assets into DeFi? Crypto laws and regulations. And as you get crypto laws and regulations, then you get more tokenization. That's how you get rich. That's what we're waiting for. I mean, it'd be nice to be rich tomorrow, but you know how crypto goes up and down? You know, XRP hits $3.40. We all feel rich. And now it's down at $2, right? It's because we don't have tokenization fully right now. We don't have real world regulations. So the banks really can't use the crypto. Get it? It'll go up. Oh, it's great to see XRP at $3.40 or whatever it was. Then it goes back down to $2. Why? Because it's not tokenized. That's exactly the point right there. Go back to the article again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth paragraph. Fifth paragraph. A much larger set of institutions could start participating. Okay, again, what is the BIS saying? Large institutions could jump into crypto, and a number of infrastructures that are currently specific to DeFi will become part of the mainstream. Look, we've got to have crypto laws, regulations, tokenization. You can't get rich. Look, Bitcoin and Ethereum are fakes. What backs Bitcoin? Nothing. Why is it 85,000? It makes no sense, right? Now, in the future, you might well have an $85,000 crypto, but it'll be backed with real world assets. That's the difference. Bitcoin's not backed by anything. It's fake. Right here, Ripple is a bank for international settlement. Look right here. Is any other crypto a member of the Bank of International Settlements? Is Bitcoin a member of the BIS? No. Is Ethereum a member of the Bank of International Settlements? No. Lions Den Dan, thank you very much for that tax-free donation. Sue YT for civil rights violation. No First Amendment, free of speech, press, assembly, or religion. That's true. I mean, I've always said if there's some lawyer out there who wants to represent all of us and taking out a particular crypto platform, I say go for it, because this one's about due. Bomba or Bomba, F-U-Y-T, keeps cutting what you're saying. So I want you to notice, they don't do this on the other crypto channels. The ones that are really popular. What you also see is this. Crypto channels that are scams, YouTube doesn't even touch. Have you noticed that? Nobody gets in trouble. For years, now some people claim BitBoy was a scam channel. For years, people claim that he was ripping people off left and right. Then you have channels like the Digital Asshat Investor. I don't think he's on YouTube. And then you got Digital Fucked Up Perspectives. I don't think that person's on YouTube. They were promoting a company called Link2 that's now being investigated by the FBI with like at least 13 felony charges for allegedly years of ripping off customers. Did these other channels get in trouble? No. But you got Crypto Hulk channel, I've been jacked up on this channel for 5 years. They're always messing with my channel, but they never seem to mess with us. And we're back again. Crypto Hulk, YT shut the channel. I had to get back in. Had to get in where I fit in. JX Johnner, member for 5 months at the 2024 crypto explosion. Top chat post for the algorithm. Don't forget to comment on the video after the show to help. Linda McKinney says, YouTube hides Crypto Hulk's upcoming shows from me the last 3 weeks. Had iPad, Samsung tablet, and TV running, trying to find shows. No shows, looking all day. You know what? Somebody out there really ought to, if you have a connection with a lawyer, start a class action. And then a lawyer can take everybody's on this show, depose them, ask them what happens when they can't find my show, they can't comment, and all these things, and file a real serious complaint. This would be the first probably crypto channel that goes against YT, and we have a lawyer involved in it. It'd be very interesting how this goes. XRP flip-flops for the Crypto Hulk fam because mahalo Hulkster. So again, on your phone, what I suggest, probably, a few times a week at least. Let's do it right now. Go to the YT application, phone app. Hit the remove app, delete YT. Then it'll pause for a minute. Then you can put keep subscription. Okay. So now we're going to load it back in. Lions Den Dan. Hulk also has video evidence and witnesses. They straight up deleted your first channel. Oh, yeah. Like, we really need a lawyer involved in this. That's where we're at. And we could probably have 300 people give an example of how YT, like, people pay for stuff on this channel. YT prevents them from getting. That's called theft. And that's a felony. If it's over like a certain amount of dollars and stuff. So right now I'm loading up the YT. So now I'm opening it up. Okay, I got my YouTube studio loaded. Don't allow. Now I got to access the pictures. Okay, so that's what I got to do probably every day is delete the YouTube app and then reload it again. And that'll do it for today's show. We're past the 1 hour mark. And I will see you in my next broadcast. I'm looking at, I'll see y'all, I think about 5:00 p.m. Pacific, somewhere in there. When I get my next show made, I'll post it at least 2 or 3 hours before the show. And then you can see when we're on. Other than that, I'll see you all in my next broadcast coming up in maybe 8 to 3, 8 to 4, like about 8 or 9 hours, somewhere in there. I'll see y'all then.